It is another edition of the On the Mic podcast, and BKFC 56 coming your way this weekend from Salt Lake City, Utah. First time ever on the podcast, and I'm excited for it. And I know you all are excited for it. The champ is here. Christine Ferea is here. Champ,
What's up?
welcome. First time we get to talk, and first time,
Yes.
really covering one of your fights. Really excited for you because one of, if not one, the most dangerous woman in all of combat sports, let alone bare knuckle boxing. Welcome to the show. How excited are you for this weekend?
Thank you. I'm super excited. I want to get this shit over with and defend my title, and put quiet her down a little bit.
Yeah, so I full disclosure, I talked to Bec just
Let's
an
jump into
hour
it.
before you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? It's a little different because I mean I love to hear that. I told her I find BKFC, even though this is my first time interviewing all the fighters, is that it's beautiful violence. It truly
Right.
is. And
Mm-hmm.
especially on the women's side, I think it's even more empowering. We know the famous
Yep.
line about MMA, and now you're just beautifully beating the hell out of each other. Um,
Yes.
but for you and any champion, really, you want to keep that ball rolling. You want to keep that train moving. Title defense after title.
Sauna.
What
No, go ahead.
uh what is it for you that makes you say, all right, I want to shut her up and I want to get this win and I want to keep going?
I mean, it like okay when like how I explained to everybody about this last fight. Okay, we get stopped by a cut, right? Because it would have been nerve damage, permanent damage to her face, possibly. So I won the fight technically. Okay, did I beat her by knocking her out, TKOing her, making her submit? No. But I don't have to win every fight like that. You don't just because a team wins a fight, or I mean wins a game by a field goal, just because it's by the punter or the field goal guy doesn't make it any less of a win. So that's where I mean I think she's gaining her confidence because I'm a scary person to fight and intimidating, and she knows the kind of power and violence I bring. I think it brings her comfort to think, put in her head like, oh, I was getting ready to come back, or I was getting ready to beat her, or whatever she wants to say, or give herself confidence, or whatever her team's doing to boost herself. And I just want to shut her up because I'm the best. I will end my career being the best to ever have done it as a female. And I'm not even going to compare myself to males because it doesn't matter. I'm going to be the best female to ever do this, and no one's going to measure up to that. And that's how I want to leave the game. So if she wants to say that, then I got to prove her wrong. That's my job. And that's why I took this rematch. I'm giving her opportunity on top of she has the following that I want, and she offers me something. So I'm giving that's why I'm giving her the rematch.
No stone left unturned for the champ. And I love that because so many male or female fighters would just look to
Mm-hmm.
next, next, next. But when you say what you just said, which I'm not gonna lie and I'm not kissing ass, gave me chills. I'm going to end the sport being the greatest female of all time to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Right.
that means you just closed the chapter on every single person that walks your way. And I will ask you about some previous people or some other women in the sport
Okay.
and BKFC specifically. But for this, right? For someone who has been in MMA, for someone who has found this as their home,
Mm-hmm.
what does the legacy mean for you? Because I could put 10 belts on you, but
Yeah.
that may not be self-fulfilling for you. You could beat everyone by first round knockout. That may not be self-fulfilling. But to know that you have this goal each and every day when you leave the gym, that you're going to be the greatest woman in bare knuckle history,
Yeah.
how much does that mean to your legacy?
Yeah. That's everything to to my legacy. I feel like of course I want to make money, and I want to make things out of this. Of course, I'm not just doing this because of legacy, right? That would be a big lie. So, but at the same time, I do want to leave that. I want to leave um I want to be the best at everything I do. So I try to be the best at being a partner, a sister, a daughter, everything I do, I want to be the best at. And beating everybody prove something to myself. I know that I face everyone toe to toe. I was never a coward. I took the fights that I did that were tough. I took the fights that I may get beat. I took the fights that the odds were against me. And when I'm 60 years old and I'm sitting there, I didn't leave anything left to give. Just like David Goggins says, give it all, because what are you going to do when you're dead, when you're old? I mean, you're going to wish you gave that. The legacy for me is everything, and to be able to be an example to the kids I'm helping raise, to my family members around me, to my friends around me, to people I don't know. It's priceless.
Oh, I can tell you, not only am I more excited to watch your fight 5 minutes after talking to you, but you're someone I've always wanted to interview, and it's for this
Thank
reason.
you.
I feel like finding, well, I could have talked to you about the fight, which I will talk to you about, but finding out who you are as a woman, as a person, which is what makes you a fighter. That's what this
Right.
podcast is all about. And with that being said, I'll
Awesome.
ask the same question I asked Bec. As both of you have had history in MMA and in other sports, there's always been that long, stupid line from Dana White about women in combat sports. And we've seen that has obviously changed. That narrative has changed in a big way. It's changed in boxing. You're changing it in bare knuckle boxing. I'm
Yeah.
not going to mention Bec or anyone else. You are changing it as a champion. You're changing that narrative for women in combat sports. With that being said, how empowering is it for you as a woman to go, listen, I could take the marquee, I could take the main event, but I can also take all the online chatter. I could take the headlines just by who I am as a fighter and as a woman.
Yeah, I love to be able to do that, and I do that through the hard work, the ethic. I wasn't always in a position to have this position or platform, but with hard work, like determination, never giving up, no matter how hopeless it looks, that's what that's what brings you to that. You don't just get that, or you don't buy it, you know. You have to work really, really hard from it, especially when you're coming from somewhere that from the bottom. I didn't have any connections in combat sports world. I literally I'm the first generation. Hopefully I have more generations coming after me. But there's a lot of guys that come into this with their generational boxers or generational fighters. I didn't have any of that. And I'm starting from the ground up, learning the business on my own, learning the marketing on my own, learning everything. So being able to be I I don't want to say iconic, but be someone that you know is an example, the first champion ever to show the work ethic and that I could fight. I'm a female. I have skill. I have IQ. I think it's special.
What is the biggest learning lesson you've taken from this? Because, like you said, you've come from the ground up and you're going into a
Mhm.
sport where so many are like, whoa, like we love combat sports, but bare knuckle, and
Right.
you've taken it in stride and you've done so in an incredible fashion. So, what's been the biggest thing you've learned since coming over to the bare knuckle world and BKFC?
I've learned a lot. I'm starting. I just there's so many things. I'm starting with the company from the ground up. So having to be patient with the company, be patient with the growing of it, be conscious of the position that they're in, and just growing with them. Just I'm growing with the company itself, and I've learned from the business side to the fighter side, and it's very different. They're very different things, and you have to balance them correctly, or else you're not going to be successful in this game. And especially in a I guess a startup, you'd say a startup company, um, it's tough, and but it builds resilience. You gotta be very strong mentally, and it shows how resilient I could be, and you have to be smart, marketing with the marketing side. But this company has grown, and the top guys, Dave Feldman and all the staff, they're doing the right things. Producing, marketing, the bringing in the UFC fighters. It's smart, and just seeing them build it from the ground up on the inside is awesome because it gives me a lot of experience for when I retire and get into my own business and get into my own stuff. I'm still building. I'm still just on the fighter side, even though I do business on the side and little things on the side. I haven't dove into anything because I'm trying to stay number one, and it takes everything from me.
Let's not talk about retirement anytime soon because you've got a long way to go, at least for
Yeah,
BKFC.
yeah.
One thing
Right.
I love about BKFC, and I'm gonna do a promotional thing. BKFC 56 goes down Saturday, December 2nd. Get it on Fight TV from Salt Lake City, Utah. To obviously watch the champ take on Bec Rodriguez. So one thing I love about this event is that, and I did say the same thing to Bec, is that you two are also once again on the same card as who I think many would, it'd be hard to disagree with, is the face of bare knuckle and BKFC, Mike Perry. Now
Right.
we've talked about you being a champ, you've been
Mhm.
in the main event, you've been the marquee, right? But
Right.
when you feel like, hey, I own this shit on the women's side, and Mike
Right.
Perry feels the same way on the men's side,
Right.
how awesome is that to share the same card with
Oh
the two
yeah.
of you?
No, I love it because these guys, and I give it to Mike Perry, to Mike, to Alvarez, to these guys are beasts. Like they are savage ass dudes that can fight and they fight hard. They're not, they're just legends in combat sports. Um, and when people say, "Oh, we are not the main event," are you mad? I'm like, no, dude, these guys bring in a lot of eyes. They bring in a lot of people, and that's what I'm here for. I'm not only here for myself. I'm here for the sport to grow. So if that means that they're the main event, and that I don't care, I'm a feature fight. Then it goes the co-main, and then the main. I don't care about that. I'm uh I'm being able to fight alongside legends of combat sports, and these guys are amazing competitors. Mike Perry, the face of it, on the men's side, I guess so. He's the bigger name. But there's a lot of great men here that fight for bare knuckle.
Absolutely, there is, and I am so excited for that fight between him and Eddie Alvarez, who I can't wait.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great
Oh,
one.
that's gonna be a crazy fight.
It's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I want to ask because it's such a thing in MMA. It's not so much a thing in BKFC, but there's always got to be a narrative, a storyline, rivalries.
Hmm.
On the women's
Right.
side, I don't think there's been a better place for rivalries to be built than in BKFC. There's been
Yeah.
plenty. I don't want to mention any names. I could leave that up
Right.
to you. But for someone who's looking to cement their legacy,
Yeah.
how how much more excited does it get you to go, oh, I've got someone talking shit. I've got someone calling me out, this, that, and everything else. Does it get you up a little bit more to know, like, all right, I get to shut somebody up. I get to close that chapter. Who's next and all that?
Yeah. I mean, if someone wants to push those buttons, that's a whole different level for me. And I mean, they really don't push those levels too much. Beck is she's quiet, and she's real quiet, and I'm like, okay, well, all right, you want to be quiet, but I kind of like to go back and forth. I like that. I like going back and forth. You talk shit, say I'm slow, or that my jab sucks, or that you whatever. I like that because then it creates more crap between us. And when I get there, but Beck wants to be nice and quiet, and I guess she'll say professional. I'm like, this is the fight game, dude. Like, this is like professional is showing up on making weight.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the
Being on
extent of
time for the press
professionalism.
conference. Yeah, that's the extent of professionalism here. So I like that. Yeah, I do like that. I do like that back and forth stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe not so much Beck, but I was thinking some more along the lines of other previous opponents he may have had where things have seemingly
Oh,
gotten ugly. I love it. I love it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I think it runs people to fight TV. I think it
Yeah,
makes people get
exactly.
and
I'm
that's
into it. I'm into the marketing side. We're here to entertain. Like, people are like, oh, we should just be able to fight, right? But people, we want, the reason why we get paid is because people watch, because they're entertained. They don't want to see everything they see in everyday life. Why come see us then? They want to see the back and forth, the backstory, the intensity, like me times 1,000. That's what I've been told. Like, be yourself times 1,000. I'm like, okay, this is fun. Now I can, things that I would be told to shut up in real life for, I'm get paid to do here. So I like to express myself that way, and but mine's really aggressive. Then people, oh, I don't like her because she's cocky or she's this. I'm like, dude, relax. I'm a humble person in real life, but here I'm doing a job and I get to be a bigger. So
And it's
it's
the
fun.
evolution of sports, right? Like
Right.
you mentioned a football game earlier. We don't hand off to running backs anymore and watch them run. No, we have Patrick Mahomes throwing 60-yard passes. Steph Curry came into the
Yes.
NBA, started shooting from half court. It made it more exciting. Fighters
Right.
like yourself want the back and forth because it creates more narrative. It brings more eyes, and I'm all for
Hmm.
it. When I
Yes.
ask you what BKFC means, if I just walked up to you right now and said, "What does BKFC mean to you and your legacy?" What would you say?
Well, Hey, what does it mean to me and my legacy? It's what cemented me as a champion. The BKFC gave me the opportunity to shine. Didn't care about my image, didn't care about anything but my skill level and what I brought to the table as a fighter. And that I was exciting. I came, I fought, and that's what fighting is about. It's this is real fighting. It's bare knuckles, toe to toe. David Feldman doesn't allow you to wrap up, get in the, I respect all styles, all arts, but to stall, if you stall, you're only stalling for about 2 seconds, then you have to get back to it. So I love this. This is raw fighting. It's real. So I feel like I'm ending my career when I do end my career, a true fighter and as a champion. So it means the world to me that everything that I put in and invested in combat sports ended well and I got to, shine.
I won't keep it for too much longer, and I do appreciate you giving me the time. But I do want to ask, as someone who has had history in the other sport, MMA, what are your thoughts on bare knuckle MMA? We've seen Jorge Masvidal bring it to the limelight a little bit. What are your thoughts on, not to talk about other promotions, but just curious on the someone who's been in the bare knuckle boxing world, what you think of bare knuckle MMA?
I respect everything. Of course, bare knuckle boxing, I love boxing, so is more exciting for me. But Masvidal is doing his thing, and I give him respect and all the love in the world because, I mean, look where he started. Where they started. They started a lot of this stuff, and you got to give their flowers, give the flowers to the guys. They started a lot of good stuff. And where they came from and where they came up from. I've heard a lot of stories, from some guys that knew them back in the day in the gym, how they started. So, I wish them all the success in the world. And I love bare knuckle, but I love bare knuckle boxing.
We've talked about a lot. What are the plans for 2024?
I wanna be champ.
All right.
So maybe I'll move up. Maybe I'll move down. I don't know.
All right. Well, keep us on the edge of our seats. Another reason to buy the fight on Fight TV this weekend,
Yeah.
BKFC 56. So obviously, you talked about getting this chapter done with Bec.
Yes.
We saw the stoppage. You mentioned it and the nerve damage. Just for me to ask you straightforwardly, did you like the stoppage, or you're like, okay, good, we're done, it's over? Or would you rather have finished the fight yourself and been done with
Oh,
it?
of course. I've always when a girl steps in with me, I don't want her to want to come back and fight me. So that's what I'm gonna do on December 2nd is I'm gonna make sure that she never, ever, ever wants to fight me ever again. I'm actually gonna send her to the 125-pound graveyard, and that's 115 pounds, where she might have a chance to be a champion.
Say less. I honestly, I had more, but I would rather finish it there. Christine, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
can't wait to see you in the BKFC ring this weekend from Salt
Yes.
Lake City, Utah. First time on the show. Hopefully, it's not the last. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you.
I'm more excited for Saturday, and I can't say thank you enough. Best of luck, and hopefully,
Thank you.
talk to you after this fight.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.